Hi guys, so I wanted to make a short video to talk about interview skills for graduates. I don't think interviews are that hard at all, but I know that some people have trouble putting themselves across in a positive way for interviews, and they go to tons and tons of interviews but still can never seem to get a job. So I've been working for about 18 months now. I've been involved with some of the interview process for our new candidates, and there's certain things that I've picked up on that I think could be useful for a lot of you out there. The first thing I would say is to relax. It sounds really obvious, but you'd be surprised at how many candidates come across in a really kind of nervous and trying too hard sort of way. When I go in for an interview, I'm just completely myself and completely open. When I'm talking to an interviewer, you have to remember that they're a normal person as well, so don't be too nervous. When you relax, you're naturally going to smile, you'll naturally be sitting down in a more comfortable posture, and your conversation will flow. You'll also put your interviewer at ease, because if you're talking to someone and you can tell that they're really nervous, you feel nervous for them as well, so it's not a good look. So I know it sounds really easy to say, and for a lot of people it is difficult to kind of relax in an interview and hide your nervousness, but the more you go to, the more comfortable you'll become and you'll get a lot more used to it. The second piece of advice I would say is structure your answers so that you come across passionate but logical as well. So what I mean by that is you want to show that you're passionate about the role, but you also have to make sure that you've got an interest in the company and the industry as well. A lot of the grads I find when they're applying for jobs talk about how the company and how the role can help their career prospects and help them. And that's certainly true, and I know why graduates would say that, because we're at the beginning of our career, so all we're kind of thinking about is what can help us. But it's so important to put across what you can do for the company, what you can bring for that team, what you can do differently. So make sure you bring that enthusiasm and you bring that passion out. So do your research, know the key people in your field, and make sure you put across your enthusiasm and passion in your answers. When I say logical, this is because an interviewer wants to know how you think. So a lot of the time you'll find that they give you questions that's really tough to answer, and they're not always expecting you to be able to give an answer to it. So why they do this is because they want to see how your mind works. So they want to know what is it you would do if you were in that situation. So when you're coming into a graduate scheme in a company, on a day-to-day basis you're going to be given new experiences and new tasks to do which you have no clue about. But what they're looking for is the person who can take that and who can think, I don't know how to do this yet, but where do I start? So you need to think about who it is you can go to, who's going to help you, what would you do if you come across a barrier, and show the interviewer that you can use your initiative. It's all very well saying, I'm a team player, but I can work on my own initiative, but you need to show it, and you do that by talking through scenarios, talking about how you think, and showing what you would do in a real life situation. My third piece of advice would be, when you're practicing your answers for your interview, make sure you keep your scenarios and examples in an adaptable format. So what I mean is, when you're practicing, you're not going to know all the questions that are going to come up. You'll obviously practice a select few, and you'll have some idea, because you always know there's certain types of questions that are going to come up. But make sure that you know your scenarios inside out, so that when a question comes up that you haven't prepared, you can still use a certain example that you've practiced, but obviously put the focus in a different way. There's no way you can practice for all the questions they're going to ask you. So if you have your scenarios ready, you know them all, you can just adapt them to the question and you'll have a really good answer ready for them. So I know it's super hard these days. Don't be demotivated if you don't get the job that you want straight away. If it's taken you longer than your friends to get a graduate job, keep trying and don't worry about it. It doesn't matter if it's taken you a little bit longer, because you're going to get the job eventually. You've just got to keep trying. The more interviews you go to, the better you'll be. The better your approach will be, the better your answers will be, and the more comfortable you'll feel. So when I went for my interview for the graduate scheme that I'm in at the moment, it was during my final exams at university. So for me, I wasn't that nervous because my focus was on my exams that I had the next day. So because of that, I was able to sit in my interview and be really relaxed and be really myself and let my personality come across. And that's what you really need to do. You have to remember that your interviewers are people too. They're just normal people, and they just want to see someone. They want to see a graduate who's got the passion, who's got the enthusiasm, who shows that they're very logical thinkers, and they've got a lot of potential that they can help bring out of them and help grow them and develop all that potential and help them in their career paths. So it's very important that if you're watching this and if you're applying for jobs, you keep doing it, you keep applying, you keep going to the interviews, you learn from it, you take away as much as you can. What you should do as well after every interview is go home and write down all the questions that they ask you and think about the answers that you gave. So this reflection is really, really good, because what it means is that you're thinking about the answers that you said and you're analysing what happened. So this will help you yourself learn from what you've said, learn from your experience, and see where you could have improved on your answers. So when you're at home and you're looking through the questions and you're thinking about what you said, you can pick up on the areas where you think, okay, if that question comes up again, I'm not going to use that example because it doesn't fit properly. And the more you do that, the more prepared you are for your next interview. So make sure you take the time after an interview to do this reflection, because it's really, really good, and it's the way that you learn and it's the way that you improve for the next interview. So I'm going to write a blog article to kind of go along with this video. It'll probably go in a lot more detail though, with a lot more hints and tips for interviews with some real examples. Anyway, hopefully speak to you guys soon. Good luck and speak to you later.